name is Steve Malum, Stephen with a SDPHEN. But since everybody's so used to calling me short Steve, yeah, that's my name, Steve Malum. I'm from the island of Siassi in the Morobe province, and I was born in Leh, the old native hospital at Malahang, yes, at Malahang in 1953 July, when my dad was the boss of Morobe Bakery at that time. And yeah, that's when I was born. I was born in 1953 July 1953.
So you're 71 this year?
I'm 71 in 2 weeks' time. Right. I'll be 71 in 2 weeks' time, yes.
Go on with your story.
Yes, I was born here, and when I was about 2.5 years old, my mom was pregnant, so Dad brought us home on the island because he was gonna go and start a bakery in Rabaul. So he went and dropped us at home on the island of Siassi. My village is Taraweh. I think you know the Siassi heritage. Yeah, so Dad went and dropped us at home when I was about 2.5 years old. It's in 1955. Dad went and dropped us home, and he went to Rabaul. And I was brought up by my grandparents. My village is Taraweh, the Siassi heritage is from. Anyhow, that's my village on the island. So I was there for about 8 years. I think I was doing my grade 3 at the Lutheran primary school when my dad came back and picked us up in 1964. Me, my young brother and I. So we went to Rabaul, and that's where we ended up, going to Methodist primary school, torchbearers in town. I was there for about another 6 months, because before that I stayed for Australian government scholarship, and I managed to pass it, so I went to international school following year. So my grade 4 was at Rabaul International Primary School, or Court Street Primary School, and at that time my teacher was Mr. Peter Stuckey, Ian and Monica's father. So yeah, he was. I was his pet student. Anyway, so, and there were 24 of us that were selected to go to that school, and I think only 5 of us managed to continue maintaining our grades, academic grades, and then we got selected to go to Rabaul International High School. So from there I went to Rabaul International High School. I did my grade Form 1 to Form 4, which is grade 7 to grade 10. And then I finished, and I was applied to University of Technology, or ITech at that time, Technical Institution. And I came to Leh to do. I studied electrical engineering, sponsored by OTC, also Telecommunications. So that's briefly my history of school up till that time.
How did you get into rugby league?
Well, with rugby league, I think my interest was developed when I was in Rabaul, in fact, and also because of the fact that I went to international school, I was exposed to a lot of sport, from rugby league, all the rules, cricket, baseball, basketball, and of course athletics, boxing, and all sports, because at that time, during pre-independence days, all the sports were played, and Rabaul was a major city where all the sporting codes were played, and I was fortunate to be brought up in Rabaul to be able to follow sport, and of course saw a lot of history-making Papua New Guineans that came through the sport, and they were my mentors, really. Not mentors, but they were my idols. I wanted to be like them, you know.
Like, for example?
Like in those days when, Kavara Posu was playing for Waratahs or Ivanhoe at that time. I was younger than him, but he was a Papua New Guinean that stood out, and I wanted to be playing with the white people like that too, because he was the most outstanding black person playing with the white and Chinese and mixed races. Yeah, and Julius Manoa was another one. Benson Naplu went there for a while. I got Senke. I used to watch them, and they were my mentors. I mean, not mentors, but they were my idols. I just wanted to, play rugby like them, because that was my interest at that time. And that's when I started playing rugby too in Rabaul in 1967. I played under 5 stone. It's a weight division then. We used to play under weight division at that time. And that's when my football started. I started playing really in 1967 when I was doing my grade 66 when I was doing my grade 5. Yeah. And so I've been playing rugby league and been involved with rugby league since then till now. I'm still involved with rugby league, yes.
Tell us about your playing days, which clubs you played for, and when did you get into the Kumuls, and some of the highlights of your rugby league career?
Yes, I started off with the juniors, so to speak, schoolboys. When I was at high school, I was captain of 3 sports. Don't forget, this is pre-independence days. When I was at high school, I was it was 1968, 69, 70, 71, 4 years. And when I went to grade 9 and 10, I was already a good player, and I was a captain. I had the privilege of captaining my division under 8 stone and under 9 stone. And of course basketball and my Australian team from the school. I was the captain, and then of course through rugby league with the Schoolboys tournament at that time, I got selected to represent Rabaul, and of course being given the privilege to also become a captain of the Rabaul Schoolboys that participated in the annual our annual encounter or our annual tournament with New South Wales Rugby League under 9 stone. 1 year would go down, and following year they'd come up. So that was the case up until 1975, when that was no longer. But during that time, when I was in my grade 10, I had the privilege of, as I said, captaining the Rabaul under 9 schoolboys to participate in the under 9 stone tournament to select the Papua New Guinea schoolboys team to New South Wales. Our tournament was our championship was held in Goroka, and we had Medang, Lay, and Rabaul, Goroka, Hagar, and Chimbu taking part in that tournament. And of course Mosby, but Mosby didn't come. They select their own players at that time. Only us, the New Guinea centers took part, and during the tournament I was also had the privilege of being named the player of the tournament and getting selected to represent the schoolboys under 9 stone to tour New South Wales in 1971. And in fact, we created history. We were the first Papua New Guinea under Papua and New Guinea under 9 stone schoolboys to wear boots, because before that our boys were playing barefoot. They used to call them barefoot from the north, but we were the first ones to wear boots. And of course, when we went down there, we beat New South Wales schoolboys. That's a history in itself. We beat them 3-0 in Australia. in New South Wales, yes. So that started off my interest in rugby league, and of course before I went to represent the schoolboys, I represented Rabaul in cricket with my young brother. Not in the schoolboys competition, but this is in the men's, because we were participating in the men's competition already. And we were selected. I was in the first team, and Sam, my young brother's name is Steve Malum, and he was in the B grade. And I didn't get any what do you call it, any whatever in cricket, but my young brother took out the player of the, he was given the player of the tournament in the B grade. And don't forget, I was 16, he was 15. So that's how our sporting started. But my rugby league, of course, as I said already, that's how my rugby league career started with the schoolboys. And then, of course, after leaving school, I came to University of Technology. I was studying electrical engineering, and my sponsor at that time was Overseas Telecommunications, OTC, which is the functions now being taken over by PTC. And yes, I was sponsored by them for 2 years, and then 30, February sponsored me, because I changed course, and I was studying. They wanted me to do become a brewmaster at the lay factory. So they got me, and I studied food technology. But then I opted out of that, and by the first semester break, I got out, and I was working with Sido Kui at 9th Street with the Sido boys, Jim Sido and Robert Sido, Dennis Sido, and for about 2 weeks, and then Connie Tigers officials heard that I was out, so they organized a job for me in Mosby, and they flew me down to Port Moresby, and I was working with DCA. That was in 1974, August, and I only played one game with Magani before the end of the season, and that's how I ended up in Port Moresby and being with Connie Tigers.
Tell me about your playing days with Connie Tigers.
Yeah, before that, I represent. We used to have what you call now, similar to what they've got now, state of origin. We used to have Papua versus New Guinea. We were two territories at that time, territory of Papua and territory of New Guinea before independence. And we used to have this annual two tests, Papua versus New Guinea. And I was fortunate to, as a young person, I think I was the youngest ever to represent either New Guinea or Papua. I was 18 when I was Unitec to represent New Guinea from 72, 73, 74. So I played in those 3 years prior to the independence for New Guinea against Papua. So that's how my representative duty started then. Those were pre-independence days where there's a lot of white people playing football, and a lot of technical staff like coaching and trainers and managers were all expats, not Papua New Guineans.
So tell us about your playing days with the Connie Tigers.
Yes, I had a couple of injuries. That's why the first Kumuls, Paul Chu and John Mugambi and those people played. I never participated because I was injured. On 2 occasions on the tour to Europe, I got injured, so I wasn't there. And Rodney Som and Schoolboys took my place. Both of them got selected, but I was supposed to be there. And I had a privilege also of...
So you were in the first Kumuls in 1975, huh?
No, I was injured. As I said, I had an operation on my shoulder. I had an operation on my shoulder, so I never participated. I was off later. And then, like 76 too, I was injured when they went on the European tour. I missed that out. And in 1977, when we won the grand final, I was still injured. I got 5 stitches on my face, 15 stitches rather. And I was the captain of Conner Tigers. Then we won. We beat Papua Panthers. They beat us in '76. John Morobe was the captain, and I was captaining Conner Tigers. And we beat them the following year. And I had 15 stitches because of the boot being planted in my face. I got 5 stitches on my nose, and 5 here, 5 on the side of my. And I went back and I played. I went back with 15 stitches, and I still scored 2 tries, and we ended up being winners in 1977. We paid Papua Panthers of what they did to us in '76. With John was the captain of Papua Panthers, and I was captain of Conner Tigers.
John
Wagambi, yes. John Wagambi was, yes. So so that's both of us were captain. I was a big man and a Morobe man.
Can you tell us about you playing for the Kumuls?
I've not the Kumuls. I played for the country. Pacific Cup in New Zealand in 1977. As I said, I've never played for the Kumuls, but I played for the country in the what they call Pacific Cup at that time against in New Zealand in 1977. Following a couple of years, a lot of times when there was representative games on, especially in the Kumuls, I was injured. I was very unfortunate. I was very unfortunate not to have represented a lot of times. I could have been there at the very beginning, but because of injuries, I was not considered. Yeah, otherwise.
But the Pacific Cup, you would still be considered a Kumul?
I don't know whether they call it a Kumul, but I played for the country. If you're talking about the country, I played for the country. And if I was not injured, I would have played all those. Played for the Kumuls so many times. And to give you go on a little bit, go back a little bit. When I was in Unitec, I was offered to play for 2 clubs in New South Wales Rugby League at that time, not NRL, but it was called New South Wales Rugby League. I was offered contract to play with Balmain Tigers and also Bulldogs. Bulldogs were the first one to approach me when we were down there. They took me to the club. The Peter Bullfrog, Peter Moore was the boss there. He took me to the club, so he threw me, all the Unitec players at that time, when we went to tour New South Wales, not to New South Wales, but in Sydney. We played the New South Wales Sydney universities. And we beat them, and that's where they saw me playing, and they approached me to go and play with them. But after I come up here, then Balmain Tigers, the boss, Kid Giddos, came up, and we had an interview here in September. I think it was September. John Melissa was then ABC boss here, and he interviewed us for me to consider going to them also if I decided not to go to Bulldog. And then somehow that didn't go through simply because we didn't have the contacts. My teachers, my lecturers, who was then my coach, Bob, never sort of, I don't think he wanted me to go down. But I don't know. And it fell through. But I was the first one to be offered an opportunity to go play in New South Wales Rugby League. It was not NRL, so because it was professional league was played down in New South Wales only, and Queensland was never, in that category.
So you never made it into the Kumuls?
No, I don't think so. No, not think so, but I made the Papua New Guinea team to, as I said, I don't know if that's considered Kumul or not, but as I said, if I had without injuries, I would have been there for sure, especially after 1980. I would have got in. Yeah.
Okay, so when did you hang up your boots with Conner Tigers?
When
did you stop playing?
I stopped playing in '84. I stopped playing in '84, And then I started with Papua Tigers in 74 and 84. I finished playing with Papua Tigers. And 85 I started my first coaching. I coached Magani. I didn't want to coach my club. I wanted to go and start somewhere else. So Magani wanted me to coach the club, so I went and coached Magani. And late Anderson Aguero, the governor, was a student, and he was one of the boys that I coached. Late Rabaul, those, and Isaac Lupari now still there, still here. They were all students at the university when I coached them. My first stint as a coach in 1985. And when I went back to Papua Tigers in 86, people like Kelly Narum, I coached Kelly. Yeah, and and then I've been with Papua Tigers for a while. And then later on, Leslie Hoffman and all these boys came through. I coached those boys and so many other boys that that come through. I coached there. So that's how my coaching started. And then of course I was the coach of after John Morobe. I coached I coached the Southern Zone, and then I coached the Vipers. And then I coached the Vipers up until 98, and then so about 97, and then 98, the 2 years, 96, 97, when there was this Super League war on, and so I was coaching the Vipers, and we were in the North Queensland competition. We won it with PNG Rugby League. So I was the coach for the 2 years when we were in the statewide competition, Queensland statewide competition. And in 98, Serbo wanted me to come and coach the Bombers, so that's when I come over, and I've been here since 98. I coached the Bombers, and then Serbo became a chairman of the Rugby League, so he asked me to become a development officer. So that was 2005, and that's when I took the boys to Russia, under 16 World Cup under 16. Under 16-year-old World Cup, that's where James Aguiaro, Mark Mexico, Robert Buya, all these boys went, and I was their coach. And we came third. Australia came first, France came second, we came third, Russia came fourth. And that's, And then, of course, 2011, Ian asked me to go and coach the Siassi Tigers. So I left the development office, and I took up the coaching with Siassi Tigers 11 and 12, and then I brought in young Stanley Teppan to come in and coach the Tigers after me. And then I stepped down, and I became, I was the tournament director for the Siassi Tigers. That's where Justin Olam and young Edwin Pape was identified, and through that program that I was then the tournament director of that Siassi Tigers after I stepped down as a coach. So that's briefly my history of rugby league and my involvement in rugby league in the technical and my playing technical areas and my contribution back to that.
What are the highlights of your time as coach with the Bombers?
Oh, Bombers.
You were with the Bombers from what year to what year, and what were the highlights of your?
I was with them in 98 and 99 and 2000. I got suspended because I made some comments, a general statement about the standard of refereeing, and I was sidelined. So that's when Joe Katzer took over as a coach. He took my place. So I stepped down, and then I just coaching the club teams, and then 2005 I got a job as a development officer. So that's briefly the history of my involvement, and of course with the Schoolboys Rugby League, I was a big part of that, and also the development part of the pathways of the Schoolboys Rugby League in Ley, and of course through Snacks Tigers we brought that Schoolboys Rugby League to another level. Development program.
What are your comments on rugby league over the last 50 years?
Well, I think it's different. It's more professional now, but I mean, still, the commitment. I reckon the commitment that we had at that time, despite the fact that it was not that professional in the late 60s and 70s, but people are committed, and they were true. And there was a lot of camaraderie, feeling of friendship in the field and outside. In the field, you're enemies. Outside of the field, you're just, your mates. Whereas now it's so different. People are still, like they hate each other. With young people nowadays. Therefore, the administration of the rugby league needs to come down hard in terms of trying to establish areas where we can address these issues. Yeah, it's so much. I think there's so much. I see nowadays there's so much politics involved in the administration of rugby league. So much, one-talk system and politics, as I said. So it's really sad to see how things have turned out. But that doesn't waver my interest in rugby league, because I'm still helping my boys here, the clubs, the schools, young people individually. I talk to young people to ensure that they do the right thing, because sport is not now is an industry. It's not a sport anymore. It's a sport, but it's an industry now. You make an income from playing, becoming professional. So I think the mindset should be changed. There must be transformation of mindset by young people. The coaches need to have that qualification. Technical knowledge of the game is very, very important, which some coaches don't possess. But I wish Pure Rugby League could also listen to some older people like us that have been in the game that could also contribute meaningfully. We're not there to run there, whatever, but I mean, if they could sometimes ask us to be part of certain things, we can contribute meaningfully. I'm 70 years old, I can't go back and become a trainer or things like that, but I can contribute with what I've got. I've got 49 years of involvement with rugby league non-stop. And it's said that they don't keep that history. There's a lot of people in Morobe still going, some in the Highlands are still going, that could be looked at or could be asked, so that we can contribute whatever we can to assist develop the game. Because, as I said, it's an industry. Something needs to be done, and professionally done.